Good morning, everybody. Welcome once again. Now today's we will discuss about pair of linear equations in two variables. In pair of linear equations in two variables, as we are studying, one by one. So that's how we can represent the pair of linear equations. Linear equations. Now we will define here the pair of linear equations in two variables. Before that, we had studied the linear equations in two variables. Now what is the pair of linear equations in two variables? First define here, then after we will discuss about the graphical representation of pair of linear equations in two variables. Okay, so here is the pair of linear equations in two variables. Pair of linear equations in two variables. Okay, pair of linear equations in two variables. How we can say that pair of linear equations, it is said to be the pair of linear equations in two variables. Two linear equations with two same variables, says x and y. Seems variable x, same variable says x and y. Here is the two seams variables that is said to be the x and y are called pair of linear equations. Okay, are called pair of linear equations. Okay, pair of linear equations. How and which way it is two ways? Because it's a contains two variables. So the general form of the linear equations in two variables, we know that general form of linear equation in two variables. General forms means that two variables, not a pair. Okay, so a1x plus ax plus b, ax by plus c is equal to 0. Ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. Got it? So ax by plus c always be 0 first. But in case of pair of, we will write here the pair of linear equations. Pair of linear equations in two variables. Two variables here, a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0 and a2x plus b2y plus c is equal to c2 is equal to 0. Okay, so here a1 b1 c1 and a2 b2 c2, these are the constant terms. What is a1 b1 c1 a2 b2 c2 are called the constant terms in its real number, and here is not equal to 0 are real number, and not equal to 0. Okay, so real number not equal to 0 will always be represented as a linear equation. Now we will discuss about the graphical representations of linear equations in two variables. Okay, so now graphical representation of linear equations in two variables. Okay, in two variables, graphical representations of linear equations in two variables. We know that graphical representations of linear equations are, here is the heading. As we know that as we know that graphical representation of linear equation in two variables are straight line is straight line. Okay, as we know, so first of all, so before we know that it's a straight lines we studied here. Now straight lines in the same manners, a pair of in same manner a pair of linear equations in two variables, pair of linear equations in two variables, lines taken together, okay, by two straight line. Okay, two variables represented by two straight line. Okay, two straight lines. Once linear equations into variables represent one straight line. So pair of linear equations into variable represent two straight line. Got it? These statements, two statements. So these three possible can happen. Okay. So one of them. So only three possible outcomes happens. Okay, outcomes happen. Three possible outcomes happens. First possible outcomes here, we will write here. First possible outcomes. What would be the first possible outcomes? The first of the two lines represent a pair of linear equations is two lines represent the pair of linear equations in two variables. Two variables intersect means that two variables will intersect at a point. Okay, will intersect at a point. Okay, let's draw a diagrams. Here is one, that is, this is the this is y dash o, x dash. These are the two lines. Okay, so it's represented just like that, intersect at a point at one point. Second, suppose that seconds, in case of seconds, the two pair of linear equations into the two lines represent the pair of linear equations in two variables the pair of linear equations in two variables will not intersect in each words. Other words will represent parallels. Will not intersect each other. In other words, it represent as a parallel lines. Okay, suppose that these are the 0 x dash y dash, and suppose that if we represent these pair of linear equations, we will find here like this. Okay, and the third points we will discuss here, that pair of linear equations in two variables here, two lines representing two lines representing a pair of linear equations in two variables. In these conditions, in two variables will be coincident. Means that coincidence. Yes, suppose that these are the graphs. Okay, in graphs, coincidence means here are two lines. Here is 2 points. In one point here, second point here. Y dash x dash, and this is 0 points. So it's a coincident. Means that one lines overlaps another lines. Means that overlaps each other. I hope that you have understood the pair of linear equations in two variables by graphical representation and possible outcomes. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.